Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Thursday morning live. I was almost checked out there for a minute. I was kind of getting into the music and just chilling a little bit. We've been playing that clip for a couple of years now, running this Thursday morning program. Hey, I'm glad that you're here this morning. If you are new to the show, welcome. We're live. We're live on your favorite platform, obviously, because if that's where you're hanging out on Facebook or YouTube or LinkedIn here, I would hope that you're following us, that you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, subscribe to our Facebook group, Multifamily Unplugged, where you're getting continual content. You can find me anywhere on social media, just dropping nuggets and tips. And that's what Thursday morning's about. And that's what we're going to talk about this morning. We're going to talk about some tax tips and some tax planning and some nuggets. Maybe some boring things for you, but maybe some things you really need to check into and listen. So what are you doing? How was the first half of your year? Are you 50% of the way to your goals? Are you a third of the way to your goals? Did you give up? Where are you at? How's your year progressing for you? And what's the second half going to be like for you? I know that a lot of the people that are in my space, in my room, so to say, are busier than we've ever been. And I think it's a nature of the business right now. I think it's a nature of time. We're really gonna zero in these next several months on getting some multifamily stuff under contract, under management, and running some good returns from the renovations and the operations that we turn around. Hey, if you're out there this morning, drop your name in the chat. Tell us where you're from. If you have a comment, let us know. Good morning, Cynthia. Good morning, Victor. Good to see you. Glad that you're here with us this morning. Hey, my guest this morning is a previous guest, somebody I love to have on the show, from time to time. Rich Scanlon. Rich is with CBiz here in Chicago, and we're going to talk taxes. It might be boring, but I don't think so. Rich, what's up?
Mike, taxes are exciting. What are you talking about?
Yeah, taxes are exciting until you have to pay them, right? When your money's not in the bank and you haven't saved it or put it on the side.
Yeah,
exactly. That goes back to tax planning, right?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, how important is that to at least have a plan in place, so it's not too scary at the end of the road. So,
Rich, here's what I want to know first, though, is how many times you've been out golfing this year?
Oh, Mike, please. I mean, come on. I would say probably if I told you 30 times, I think that would be probably about right. If you'd ask my wife, most people say, "Hey, Rich, you've been playing a lot of golf," and I say, "No, I haven't." But if you ask my wife, she would say, "Yeah, he has been playing a lot of golf." So I think probably about 30 rounds so far.
Is that twilight golf, or are you playing earlier in the day?
You know what? I do. I play earlier in the day. I've got a group of buddies that I play with, 9 holes after work. In fact, we call it the after work league. So yeah, we do some twilight stuff as well. I play a lot of client golf. I have a lot of clients that like to play golf. It's a great way for me to connect with them and network with them and continue to build relationships. So I find ways of doing it in various different capacities. So it's fun.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, let's you bring up a really key word, right? Relationships.
Yeah.
And I think you and I both are in relationship businesses. And that's one of the things I work with my coaching clients on and try to encourage them and help them learn is that the stronger the relationships you have with people, the further it goes. Like, let's just look at you and I, right? We've probably known each other, what, a little over a year now?
Probably closer. Yeah, I think yours is probably about right. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've had several lunches. We've gotten together. You've been on my show. You come to my meetups. Matter of fact, let me just mention that tonight in Chicago, live meetup, 99 Asian Bistro at the corner of Elston and Cortland, sort of at the corner, just a little bit off, 1438 Cortland. Got a great speaker tonight, Steve Grammarosa, going to talk about title and why title is so important in real estate. And he is really dynamic when it comes to developing skills around sales and helping get uh, listings if you're a broker, helping to talk to sellers if you're an investor. Uh, so wherever your need is, I think that Steve will bring some insight to you tonight. So that's at 6 o'clock tonight. And then we're going to go and have some live entertainment right after. So we'll look forward to seeing you. A couple people already checking in saying they're going to be there tonight. So good. Hey, so Rich, what do you find? So you're kind of in a different space, but yet we're in the same space that we really are because it's financial, it's money, but the relationship thing.
Yeah.
How do you, in your own mind, what's your process for building a relationship with somebody?
Yeah, I can explain a few things. For me, Mike, it's, obviously it's attending events, it's getting active, it's going out there and meeting people. Um, but after you meet those people, I think what gets lost is follow up. And for me, follow up is key. I think it's important that if you meet somebody at an event, follow up with them, try to set up a coffee meeting, lunch meeting, whatever the case might be, to get to know that person and really, put yourself out there to kind of understand what that person does. And then hopefully they want to understand what I do as well. But for me, relationships are key. And I really try to work hard, again, in whatever capacity I can. Again, whether it's a lunch meeting, coffee meeting, playing golf, whatever the case might be, of really trying to get to know somebody. And look, most of these conversations sometimes aren't just always about business. To me, building a relationship is getting to know that person, getting to know, where did you grow up? Tell me about your family. What kind of sports do you like? So it's really getting to know that person well and really clicking with that person. And to me, it just kind of grows organically from there. And that's what I enjoy. I enjoy meeting people. I enjoy building those relationships. And I really have fun with it.
Nice. Hey, I'm going to ask a question.
Yeah.
And do you think that everybody you meet is somebody you want to build a relationship with?
Yes and no. I certainly want to try
Hmm.
to see if there's an opportunity to build a relationship. Um, and hopefully, if that person is receptive to the same concept, then yes, I certainly want to get to know them.
Yeah.
I'm always willing to what I say, talk to somebody at least one time. So I do not shy away from, again, meeting people, trying to follow up with those folks and to get to know them. And I would say too, Mike, most people that I do meet, I try to build a relationship with them. Um, one thing I've learned in my life, and I've been married for 27 years now.
Hmm.
When my wife and I first met, we didn't decide on the first date that we were going to get married, right? We went out
Right.
on a few dates, and then after that, we decided, hey, let's get married. I associate that now with my business relationships, because business relationships, are the same. Because when you go to that first meeting or that first date, if you will, I don't know if you decide right then and right there that you're going to have a relationship with this person or start referring business back and forth. You got to go on a few dates. You got to get to know the person. You got to build that relationship.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I think it's that approach of really truly understanding, and I'm genuinely interested, Mike, in what people do. So I think that has helped me in my line of work to build those relationships. So would I build a relationship with everybody? No, but I certainly at least try to see if there's an opportunity.
Yeah. Um, I think that what is really interesting is that if we are building a relationship with somebody and we're trying to see really from the heart how we can help somebody and what we can do, it's just like I tell my story a lot, right? And I try to provide this hope and inspiration for people, that people don't need to be held back by what's happened in their life, that they don't need to be in a prison in their mind, but that they can move forward, right?
Yeah.
I truly have a passion for that. And it's like you, the one thing I think that you and I think a lot alike, I believe, because, we truly want to help other people. And that's who you are, or who I see in you in your business, right?
Yeah.
Like, you genuinely care. It's not about doing the business, but you genuinely care about somebody's taxes, somebody's planning, somebody's financial situation in their future. And you're an out of the box thinker. So you and your team at CBiz really help. Why don't you talk a little bit about CBiz, what you guys do, what you do, and let's I have a conversation I want to get into around that.
Yeah, and Mike, thanks for kind of recognizing the difference in what I try to get accomplished. Because again, I am truly interested. And what else excites me too is how can we help, or how can I help that person? And so that's where the company, the business aspect comes into it. So, Mike, as you know, CBiz is a full service tax, audit, accounting, and tax advisory firm here in Chicago. So we work primarily with what I would call small and growing businesses, up to middle market type businesses as well. But our firm has been around, so it's kind of interesting. This year, 2023, we're actually celebrating our 70th anniversary. So the firm has been around for 70 years. And I'm not going to go into the full history, but what I'll tell you is when our founder started the firm, he started this firm as a real estate accounting firm. So we primarily, our number one type of client in Chicago is a real estate type client. So that could be a developer, property manager, a lot of construction, general contractor type guys, but a tremendous amount of real estate investors, guys that have rental properties. Again, whether it's, you name the asset class, we have experience with it. So we truly feel that we're experts and certainly have the experience with real estate. Now, with that being said, we work with other types of businesses as well, nonprofits, manufacturers, other types of businesses, you name it, we pretty much have experience with it. Again, 70 years doing this. But it's really real estate's kind of king in the office. And our goal, Mike, is not to be just a form filler, meaning, we're not those types of accountants that'll just fill out a tax form for our clients and then, never talk to that client again until next tax season. Our goal is to be a little different. We are very proactive with our clients throughout the year. We make it a point to reach out to them. And remember, I said reach out to them. So we're proactively calling, emailing our clients at least quarterly throughout the year. Sometimes it's 5 or 6 times throughout the year to put a tax plan in place, or let's talk about some estimated quarterly tax payments that you might have to make so that there's no big surprises at the end of the year. Or maybe you're getting into a deal. Maybe you're getting into a new deal with some new investors in a different state and you want to know how to structure that deal. Well, let us sit down and help you structure that deal that is the most tax advantageous way possible to get into that deal. So we want to talk about that. We also want to talk about ways to help you reduce your tax liability. So how can we help you pay less in taxes? Can't make taxes go away, but I can certainly help you and our clients pay less in taxes. And there are opportunities, loopholes in the tax code that allow businesses to do that, but most people don't know about it. And that's why we really serve as an advisor to our client. I was meeting with a prospective client on Tuesday. I had lunch with him and one of my partners, and even the partner mentioned, and I've said this before in the past, but it was good to hear him say this. He said, filling out the tax forms, that's boring.
Yeah.
We have to do that. He goes, the tax advisory piece, sitting down and strategizing and planning, he goes, we have fun with that. That's the fun part of our job because we get to save taxes and save money for our clients. And it's really, it's really a fun way, if you will, to kind of get creative with clients as well too. So I think it's more, Mike, that we take more of an advisory role with our clients. Again, instead of just being the tax guy that, talks to their client once a year. We're talking to them multiple times throughout the year. We're trying to put a plan in place, put a strategy together, and we really try to help our clients understand that there's opportunities out there that they should be looking at.
Yeah. Hey, I just had an interesting thought, and you check me on this, but I think that a lot of people don't want to talk about tax planning, or because they don't like to talk about money, right? I mean, you look at a marriage, right?
Yeah.
Relationships. One of the biggest issues in a relationship is finance,
Yep.
right? So you don't like to talk to your spouse about it. It's hard sometimes to talk to your business partners about it. Oh my God, where am I going to get payroll this week? Right. Yeah. Or whatever the situation might be. But I think a lot of times people don't like to talk about money. So the tax planning or the futuristic planning piece is hard for a lot of people. They think, oh, when I have money, then I'm going to talk about it. But even somebody who doesn't have a lot of money, but maybe is a high income earner, maybe they spend too much,
Yeah.
Maybe they're upside down financially, that could be the best time to start taking a look at that stuff.
Absolutely. And it's interesting that you say that, Mike, because yes, we're tax experts, we're tax advisors, but it's funny because when, in our role, you talk about relationships, we earn the fact that we become a trusted advisor with our clients. And look, a lot of these conversations that we're having with our clients aren't always about business.
Right.
It's not always about taxes. Maybe it's how do you put a good financial plan together. There's other types of conversations that we have with our, because we built a relationship, we've earned that trusted advisor role that, if people are a little scared or intimidated or unsure on what to do, that's what we're here for. We want to be that sounding board. Now, look, maybe we don't have all the answers. And I think that's a good thing sometimes too, because then that allows me to get people in my network involved to say, hey, Mr. Client, I can't help you with this, but I know somebody who can. And so, yeah, if you have somebody out there that's maybe a little intimidated or unsure on how to handle this, take that first step, have a conversation. Have a conversation with me. I'm happy to answer questions as much as I can, and I'll take it as far as I can. If I come up to a dead end, I'll start getting somebody else involved in the conversation. But I think taking that first step and understanding that you need help, I think is important, because that's what we're here for. We're here to, keep you compliant with the IRS,
right,
but also to be that advisor. So yeah, whatever the situation, I think it's important to reach out and start that conversation.
And what's really cool is that you're not the guy doing it. You're just the guy building the relationship, but you have a team behind you that is incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I know that, we've talked to your, because we use you guys with our syndication deals and our taxes. And,
right.
You have a team behind you that's extremely powerful and helpful. I had a situation yesterday, and I'm just going to float this out there and get your perspective on it.
Sure.
But I have an investor that's, coming and invested in a deal that we're trying to get across the finish line, working towards getting across the finish line. Okay. And, they invested their money a month ago, and we are getting ready to close this thing. And yesterday they came to us and said, hey, listen, my husband's business has a problem. The problem from 2021 and 2022, and we need to get our money back because we need to pay that problem. Mm. And, the first thing that occurred to me is, hey, can you set up some type of a payment plan with the IRS and not lose the opportunity in this incredible investment where you're going to have opportunity to really increase your financial future and offset some inflationary periods along the way. Yeah. But then my second thought was, hey, listen, do you have a good accountant? And the wife kind of like tongue in cheek said, well, it's my husband's business accountant. And, I'm not really. And I said, well, listen, what if we put you in touch with an accountant that could maybe help you navigate through this? Would that be helpful? And, that's what that's what I like to do from my side, right? It's not just about investing in this
Right.
deal, taking advantage of this, but I like to be that connector too, where somebody has a tax problem, they need help, I can help them with that. Somebody needs a contractor, I can help them with that, right? So it's that connection that we do with people. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts around, you know, someone like I'm, just kind of talking about?
Well, first of all, we would love to have a conversation with them. And, we can either start with me or I can get one of my partners involved. So we're happy to point them in the right direction, answer any questions they have, find out kind of what their concerns are. And look, if it leads to us gaining a new client, fantastic. But if it doesn't, and we can kind of sit back and say, hey, we helped somebody out, that's even better. And even too, Mike, and I'll just tell you this too. If it helps you look good as well too, great. Let us be a resource for you and your clients, and maybe anybody listening out there too. Even if you just have simple questions, we're happy to have that conversation. But yeah, Mike, for sure. If you want to point them in our direction, we're happy to have the conversation with them. We're not going to charge anything for that. We understand that, goodwill goes a long way in our world, and it's important for people to understand what they're doing, before, during, or after whatever they do. We always like to get ahead of things, so if we can get ahead of something with them on this, happy to point them in the right direction. So yeah, for sure, make the connection, and I can get the ball rolling for you.
Yeah, and another guy I'm thinking about, who's going to speak tonight at our live event in Chicago, Steve. He is, he's another one just like us, right?
Mm.
He just genuinely has this heart for helping people and helping people grow. And I think that's, I don't know if that's because the older we get, the more wisdom we get, the more genuine we get. I look at a lot of people on social media today with fancy cars and nightlife and airplanes and I don't necessarily know that that's what the tax planning is all about. But
Maybe there's some deductions out there that they're
yeah,
looking at.
hey, that's funny. There's a guy out there we know really well that says, hey, I bought my plane because I needed the tax deduction. Never know, right? I Here's a funny story. We looked at an apartment deal one time in Dallas, 280 some units.
Oh, nice.
We were buying it from a nonprofit. And they're interesting. Nonprofits will typically not put money back into their assets,
Yeah.
right? They drain the cash flow out of the assets. So with this deal had like 74 out of 287 uninhabitable units because they kept
Wow.
stripping stuff out of them to keep other units running. And then they show up for a walkthrough in their private jet.
Oh, geez.
So I said to somebody, I go, man, they showed up in a private jet. He goes, oh, that's nothing. They have three of them.
Uh,
And they have them because they needed the tax deductions. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. So it was an enlightening
wow.
conversation. That was a number of years ago when I really realized that some of those assets really are those tax, Hey, let's talk about depreciation real quick
Sure.
as we're winding down here. One of the things that we're going to go in on this deal we're doing and do a cost segregation study, which
Yep.
is going to give bonus depreciation to investors that can participate in it. But hey, I'm rolling out a projected return of maybe 17%, which doesn't include depreciation. And I think somebody that puts themselves in a good position and they plan for it could be in the low 20s on a return on an annual basis on this thing. But how does that depreciation help somebody? Let's talk to somebody who might not even know what depreciation will do for them.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that, if somebody's considering or wants to know more about that, that's something they definitely should dive into with their current accountant, Again, happy to have those conversations with people as well too. But what it does, it frees up some cash now as opposed to down the road because of depreciation schedules. And I think too, Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, again, I'm not a I think it's at 80% right now, but
Yeah.
still, I mean, 80%. I mean, come on. Which I think that tax law changed last year or the year before, last year. But yeah, I mean, 80%. So you get to recoup that at 80% earlier as opposed to waiting for it down the road. I mean, let's face it. You know, you and your world and a lot of real estate investors, they want money now.
Yeah.
And so to be able to do a cost seg to allow some of that depreciation is a huge advantage. And what I see too, Mike, when I talk to people, not a lot of people know about it, or if they do, they've heard about it, but they don't understand it.
Mm.
And quite honestly, there's not a lot of accountants out there that are talking about it. Every single client that we bring on board, that's probably the first or second thing we talk about is, hey, have you considered a cost seg study? And I usually say, well, what is that? That's where you get the ball rolling and help them understand there's ways that they can, again, there's some opportunities here that you should be looking at. So yeah, I think that's an important thing to talk about. I think it's important for the real estate investors to look at because there is definitely some pretty big tax opportunities out there. And I'm happy to pull in one of my partners if somebody has questions after this to help you guys understand, more about it and how it works from a tax perspective. But yeah, I think it's definitely a vehicle that should be taken advantage of.
Yeah. Tell people how they get a hold of you, Rich.
A couple ways. Well, I see my phone number scrolling across the screen here. That's always a great way. Feel free to call or text. I am like Mike. I am very busy throughout the day. I don't play golf all the time. I do have meetings and whatnot. So if you don't get me live, feel free to leave a voicemail. You can obviously email me too or connect with me on LinkedIn. But my email is rscanland. So it would be SCANLAND. So it's Scanland at cbiz.com. So
Hey, and here's what I would tell people. If they want to play golf with you, that they should start right now for next spring, because that's how long it took us to get on the calendars.
Right. And we haven't even accomplished it yet. It's on the calendar. Let's hope it doesn't rain or something stupid that day.
It's been on the calendar and off the calendar, back on. So,
yeah, I'm not moving. I'm not moving anything this time, Mike. You're coming out whether you like it or not. So
yeah, I'm sure that even trying to get a lunch before that's probably impossible. Hey, speaking of that, so your favorite restaurant in Chicago? What is that?
Boy, you know what? I really like the Let Us Entertain You restaurants, but specifically RPM Steak Restaurant is fantastic. It's a little pricey. My wife and I probably go there once or twice a year when we're celebrating something, anniversary, right? 20 some odd years. But RPM Steak is a fantastic place to go. The food is great. The cocktails are wonderful. The staff there is really what kind of does it for me. I mean, when I go in there, not that they know me, because I don't think they do, but I feel like they know me there, and I feel like they always take very good care. But that's Let Us Entertain You. That's kind of their model. So I've had very good experiences. Now, maybe there are people out there that say that place is overpriced or it's not any good, but I've had very good experiences there.
Well, I've always had a good experience with Melman's restaurants,
Yep.
So, hey, best golf course in the Chicago area?
Oh,
you're the first person I'm asking that question.
I really enjoy. So, fortunately, with my role, I'm playing golf with clients, and they reciprocate, and they, allow me to come down and play golf with them or go to their club or whatever. I've been out to Medina Country Club a few times. But a place that I really enjoy, which is 5 minutes from my house, is Olympia Fields Country Club. I have a client out there. He invites me out there 3 or 4 times a year. Love playing out there. They have a north and south course. It's always in great shape. The BMW Championship is going to be out there in mid-August. So the pros will be playing that course.
Nice.
I really enjoy playing out there. It's a hard course for whatever reason. I play halfway decent out there, so I enjoy playing that course.
Yeah.
And then, by the way, you go in and have a drink or food afterwards. It's fantastic. My problem is when I go in there, I go into the pro shop. As you can tell, I like to wear golf gear.
Yeah.
When I go into Olympia Fields, I walk out with a shirt or a hat or shoes or something. So I end up spending money there, but it's a fantastic place to go. And again, just first class service there as well too. So
Yeah, nice, nice. You ever been to? Do you ever get to Southern California?
no, I have not played there yet, or I
Well,
haven't been down there. Sorry, I got golf on the mind. So
there's a course called Pelican Hill
oh,
that I think is probably one of the finest courses I've ever played. And I'm not a big golfer. I don't, certainly don't golf 30 times a year. That's for sure. But I like to get out. I like to, hey, I don't think there's anything like a nice chilled lemonade with a frozen Snickers and a cigar that anything else beats. So,
see, Mike, that's why you and I get along well because that's exactly what I would be doing as well.
right, Rich, thanks for being here this morning. I appreciate you.
Mike,
And
thank you.
yeah, I just want to tell everybody that, hey, listen, if you're in a tax situation, you need help or don't need help, call Rich and talk to him and see what they can do for you. You may have a great accountant right now, and that's okay. But you know what? A second set of eyes always helps. That's what I say.
Yep.
If you're looking for those investments, we are bringing to the market a great investment opportunity right now for people to take advantage of passively and see some really good returns. So if you have an income problem for 2023, or you're going to have an income problem and you need to offset it, some passive income with some depreciation could be a vehicle for you. So reach out to Rich, reach out to me. If we can help you, we certainly will do that. Thanks for being here this morning, everybody. If you have questions, comments, you need anything, let me know. Hey, Rich, I would love if one of the owners or managers from one of those golf courses, if they would want to be